by the title of this video and the thumbnail, you're probably thinking that this video is about karate or getting lean for some kind of fight, maybe Southpaw or Rocky, but none of the above. But really here, we're trying to get our company's services and products to fit in the value and workflow that encompass the creation of this product and service. And also this is reducing waste as well with that process. In this video, I'm going to explain how I found lean thinking and Six Sigma useful within my teams and how you might find it useful too. Let's start off with lean thinking. So the overall concept here in the most simplified fashion for lean is reducing waste. And reducing waste throughout the value stream. So from the initiation of customer requirement or idea all the way back to the customer, all those steps and the people involved, removing and eliminating what's not needed is really important here. This is not a new concept at all, right? This has been used in car manufacturers for over 60 years. And we're not also looking at the steps and the people to actually deliver this product end to end. We're also looking at those lead times, right? How much time it takes to hand off from one process to another or one team to the other, because there's a lot of value in understanding that. Sometimes that's where the biggest opportunities are, eliminating those handoffs or reducing that lead time between those different process steps or teams. It's like a software product for this, because again, there's many use cases in the manufacturing industry, whether it's auto or aerospace, on how to do this. But I want to put it in the context of software. So let's start with just an imaginary product. We'll say a health app that has some kind of IoT or health device that's attached to you, maybe a watch, and it's providing some kind of health incentives to your customers, whether it's meal plans or workout plans or ideas for meal plans and grocery lists. So we'll just take that as an example. So initially, right, someone came with this idea. Hey, I think it'd be of value for customers and other people that feeding the sensor data from your watch or your wearable back into an app to give you suggestions on how you are doing for the week, as far as maybe calories or maybe types of food, and then give you examples of maybe types of recipes and things that you can do with maybe some ingredients in your refrigerator today, align with that goals of whether you're trying to bulk up or lean or whatever goals you have. So let's talk about the initial creation, right? So it starts with the customer desired feature, right? Maybe it's a new product, maybe it's an existing product. So maybe a customer says, hey, we want to add sensors from our glucose meters into this app to feed into that value that's delivering back, so I can understand particular glycemic indexes for my wearable and for my health. So that feature goes into the pipeline, right? Working with those product owners, working with those people that's defining what that means to those customers. And now it goes to the development team, right? You can think of it though, that in this value chain, there's probably nutritionists, there's probably some kind of health or gym personal trainers, there's obviously software developers because you have an app, right? There's all these people, and of course the business developers, there's probably legal people involved with this. So you can think of it, there's a lot of steps that come into play from end to end in handoffs, right? Throughout from when that was initiated, that idea, that feature, until, hey, it's delivered to the customer. Customer is pulling that feature. Let's give an example of maybe a possible delay. What if there's no product owner? And this is not something unusual, right? Or maybe no one has that role defined. And so with that, you can say, well, we kind of understand customers want to track glucose, but we don't know exactly for what use cases. So there might be a delay from that customer said, hey, submitted a form, hey, we want glucose. And now the developers are looking at it, maybe with some kind of Scrum Master or some kind of manager, and they're trying to figure out, what this is, right? You could think there might be some delays, right? Because you're trying to actually do some design thinking. Maybe you have to take another survey, which takes away from those developers' work in the first place to develop the app, right? To really understand those requirements. And so maybe there's some cost of delay there, right? Maybe if there was a role that can actually understand those customer requirements and have those before the developers start work, Maybe they'll add some value from the customer ideation of this feature into the customer's hands, right? Just maybe putting a role there. So remember, if you learned one thing in lean thinking, it's reducing waste and understanding the end-to-end steps and the people that take to do that, and reducing the waste in that process from customer idea to delivering to the customer to actually using the product. So let's look at Six Sigma now. A very known method, been out in the field for over 40 years. And I know you hear sometimes black belt and green belt here, right? There's different levels on what expertise you have in this. And for this purposes, I'm just gonna define kind of what it is and how I've used it. And this process or method involves 5 cycles. And the idea is you are iterating through these 5 cycles until you get to a desired state. These 5 cycles have an acronym of DMAIC, and what that stands for is define, measure, analyze, iterate, and control. This kind of sounds familiar, right? Maybe something you've already done before, right? Within an iteration, within a sprint, right? You're doing this empirical cycle where you're actually learning, right? You're defining what you're doing. You're really, how you're gonna measure that. You're analyzing it. You're iterating, saying, what do we need to change? And then you're either controlling things or you're taking actions to get better, right? Very familiar. That's kind of essentially what Six Sigma is. Let's go back to the health app. You could say that maybe the customers are spending hundreds of dollars on eating out, which is causing them to lose or miss their goals. And again, not getting interested in using the app, right? Hey, this app's not working. I'm gonna quit the app. So maybe this is something of value for this health company. Let's go for the define portion, right, in this cycle. And so what are these consumers, why are these consumers eating out? What behaviors causes them to go eat out, right, and lose their goals? Is this something have to do with planning ahead? Maybe groceries could be in this area of really defining what are these behaviors, why is this happening? So maybe what we're gonna do in the measure phase is actually track their spending on eating out versus groceries. And maybe we measure the spending per month for different types of people and different types of lifestyles. So look at the analyze phase. Let's figure out maybe what is working and what's not. Maybe they're always traveling, maybe they have kids, right? So kind of really analyzing the why, right? Why is this happening? Maybe they have night jobs, right? Where their shifts are off a little bit and maybe those grocery stores are not open. So they have to go eat out. So let's go to the improve phase. So in the improve phase, maybe we found out the root cause. And then how are we gonna improve this behavior? So maybe we can improve this behavior by allowing geolocation. And when people get next to a fast food spot, they send notifications for maybe some other alternatives or alternatives within that fast food place that maybe is healthier to eat. Maybe we send reminders, maybe the time of day that they're awake and they have the energy to go grocery shopping, we send them reminders and maybe recipes that you can do that. It's easy. Now for the last phase, the control. Now that we have something in place to improve it, is it working or is it not? And so maybe we track that behavior and see if it changes, right? Tracking if, hey, did you end up getting groceries or how was that meal? Or what did you end up getting or putting that food in when they would go to fast food, or what do they actually got? And is it improving? And that's where this control phase comes into play. And this is really validating that his new behavior is happening, right? Ultimately, people are happier, people are getting the results they want to see, and they still like this app because, hey, it's helping them get towards those goals. And yes, they're using more usage. Again, brings value back to the customer, also brings value back to the business in terms of revenue. And so it's a win-win situation here. Again, you want to make data-driven decisions, right, to analyze this. Let's move out subjective as much as we can and really bring the data to back up our claims on this is working or not, or do we need to change something? Looks like you're lean, karate ready, and earned your black belt. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this video, on the information provided in the comments below. Love to discuss. And like always, stay agile-ish.